Hi, my name is Joseph Cohen. I'm the founder of Self-Decode. I've been optimizing over 300 biomarkers for the past 20 years. At Self-Decode, we look at cutting-edge genetic analysis in order to optimize health and prevent disease and slow the rate of aging. My experience with AIWO has been fantastic. This is the 7th time that I've been at AIWO, and the reason I keep coming back is because of all the wonderful facilities and all the amazing treatments. So when I came, I was picked up by BMW. I right away started a whole bunch of different treatments. I did hyperbaric, I did a DEXA scan, I did VO2 max, I did an ultrasound of my internal organs, and I did a whole body MRI. I did 300 blood biomarkers, and I've not only done that once, this is the second time I've done it. So so looking at a whole bunch of these biomarkers has been super helpful. I've spoken to a number of experts in various areas. I did a sculpting machine to help sculpt my 8-pack even more. And then I've done things like a sleep study to make sure I don't have sleep apnea. I've done a whole bunch of different kinds of physical therapy, myofascial release, mashing, and a whole bunch of other amazing treatments. I've done even some dental work and facial treatments, including microneedling, RF, and a whole bunch of other amazing facial treatments, hydrofacials. And all these things were super easy and convenient to get in one place, whereas if I were to do it where I was, it would be way more expensive, and it would have to take me a lot more time to find all these individual treatments and bring them together. The food has been incredible. I've been eating 3 amazing meals a day, catered by excellent restaurants, and the company has been with great people, biohackers, and other really knowledgeable people, so I've been able to learn things as well, and that's why I keep wanting to come back to the program.
When was the first time?
My first time in the program was in 2019, March 2019.
Oh wow, this is before.
Yeah, that was before the program even started, really. So
gotcha.
it was like starting to bud, and I did a bunch of treatments. I did the ultrasound, the CT scan. They didn't do the whole body MRI then, but obviously they do it now. And there's certain tests that were added that I didn't do then. For example, the last time I did a cancer screening test in the blood. So similar to a Grail test.
Right.
So I've done that. That's like an example of a new test that they added. They also added some of the biomarkers. I told them to add the amino acid panel, which I think is very important because that's been a game changer in a lot of things I'm doing.
Right.
For example, it's just not, it wasn't clear to me what amino acids, that I was deficient in any amino acids, right? You would think that if you eat enough protein, you won't be deficient in amino acids, but that's actually not true.
What are the things like then affect that? If you're eating meat, you would expect getting everything.
I think it's more influenced by utilization.
Right.
So it's not even the gut, just how much you utilize the amino acids. So even if you consume a lot, if you utilize them more, it'll just be lower in the blood. And the utilization depends on nutrients that you're consuming. So if you're consuming more of one nutrient, you might utilize an amino acid more.
Gotcha.
And for example, B6 causes the utilization of a lot of amino acids. And so if you're taking other supplements, sometimes other supplements will increase the utilization. So let's say, I don't know if this is the case, but let's say HMB is a supplement that maintains muscle mass, right? A lot of the mechanisms by which it would maintain muscle mass is not breaking down muscle. That is the main mechanism, right? It decreases catabolism. And so if you decrease catabolism, then the body uses that as a mechanism to increase amino acids in the blood when needed. But the thing is, I actually take a bunch of things that decrease catabolism, which means that I don't break down the amino acids very much. I more like use them, but don't break down my muscles very much, which can be a good thing. But also, I noticed that when I exercise a fair bit, my amino acids, a lot of them are low because I think it's used, and then if I'm taking certain supplements, maybe certain nutrients that are helping the utilization, and then certain supplements that prevent catabolism,
Yeah.
all of a sudden that could be one of the reasons why they're lower, right? Certain amino acids, even if I am taking it, and certain amino acids are being utilized more than others. So, for example, I noticed if I eat more protein, there's certain amino acids that just go up if I generally eat more protein. That includes tyrosine and phenylalanine. And the reason, I think, is because those are not really utilized by exercise very much. They're utilized by other processes. And for whatever reason, like there's just a limit in how much you're going to use. So if you consume a lot of protein, I just noticed my tyrosine and phenylalanine go up.
Yeah.
Right? That's pretty responsive
Right.
to how much protein I eat. On the other hand, as I've eaten more protein, I told you I eat 215 grams of protein a day, something
Right.
like that, which is a lot.
Mm.
My leucine is still low. I mean, like the range is it's somewhere. The range is like 68 to 183, but my leucine tested a bunch of times. It hovers around 70, which is quite low. Given that I consume a lot of whey, I have 100 grams of whey.
Is it because of the increased protein synthesis?
I think so. So my muscle mass has been going up, and I just think that what I notice is that if my body's fighting an infection, it takes the leucine because your body needs leucine for different immune proteins. And then if I'm working out or if I'm exercising, my muscles just soak up leucine. And then I think could be certain nutrients, certain B vitamins or certain nutrients that I'm taking, could be they utilize leucine more, which could be a good thing. But then what happens is that the serum levels are low, and there's kind of like, my body doesn't want to break down muscle tissue, but then the leucine levels are lower. Whereas I find that the isoleucine is, like my isoleucine, and isoleucine is worse. There's some negative effects from having higher isoleucine. But now my isoleucine went a little down just because I'm just taking leucine instead of branched chain amino acids.
Right. How many supplements are you taking now then?
I take 160 supplements a day. Yeah. And I kind of have a list of, there's about 90 things that I take that I've noticed some change in my blood from it, like significant enough, or there's something significant that I notice from it in life. That not just like a minor effect, it seems pretty significant and that it helps me in some way. So there's still a gap of like 70 that are like things based on what you're reading about, or maybe it has a minor effect, but nothing significant, or I don't notice anything significant in my blood tests. So that's kind of my goal, is to eventually just take things that I notice a change based on some blood marker.
So there's all like the things that you're taking because you see the results, and the things you're like experimenting with right now to
either experimenting or, let's say, for example, astaxanthin. I don't notice any benefits from it. I don't, but it's kind of just like you see some research and you're like, okay, it does this, that, and the other thing.
Makes sense, yeah.
And animals who took it lived longer, and it's like, all right, I'll take it, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe you get a slower rate of aging because some of the carotenoids they claim help with the aging rate.
Yeah, like eye health, and it's also preventive kind of.
Right, but who knows, right? That's the thing, is like I haven't noticed anything, and I haven't clearly seen that, I took astaxanthin, all of a sudden this marker moved quite a lot.
Yeah, maybe like have you measured eye health or something, or sun damage, or because the
but I do measure sun damage, but I can't pinpoint. First of all, my sun damage has stayed the same since the last test. I can't pinpoint what maybe it would have been worse. I don't know, but the idea is that it's very it's very hard to pinpoint things if it's not very significant in the blood. Meaning, like, if it helps 5%, I won't be able to tell.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's certain things that I take and it's like, this helps, right?
Mm.
So some of them could even be amino acids. I took the amino acid and all of a sudden my amino acids in my blood doubled, right? So that's very clear. And then they stayed elevated. So that's very clear that this amino acid is doing something. And then, over time, I might also notice, okay, I could see this also improving my performance or this, that, and the other. But usually it's like either I notice something very strong in the blood or very significant in some issue I had, or like if it's related to mood, I might not notice something very strong in the blood, but I notice a significant effect on my mood. In that case, it's like I consider that as some of the things that are like validated in my opinion if it's significant enough that I know, hey, this is having a significant effect on my mood.
And you like pharmaceutical types, or what are like medications, or taking anything like that?
Most of them, yeah, I take some medications, pharmaceuticals. A lot of them are related to lowering lipids, which I do see very clearly in the blood that they're working, and there's also clinical trials as well. Like the PCSK9 inhibitor clearly works, right? That lowers my lipoprotein A as well, which I have elevated levels of, and then my cholesterol as well. And this is mainly genetic based, so I have to take these things. And then bempedoic acid works very well for me. Ezetimibe, I take that as well, and that, can I say that I notice a huge difference? No, but it's like 10%. It's supposed to have a 10% effect in the cholesterol levels. So that's an example of something that if it was like if there weren't a lot of trials on it, I wouldn't be sure like 100% what it's doing. It seems to have some effect, but wouldn't be sure. But then, so those are the 3 pharmaceuticals that I take for cholesterol.
Right. Yeah, with a lot of the supplements and medications, it's you need to find a balance between your own blood work and clinical trials.
Right.
Because a lot of them are like primary prevention, and they work over the course of decades essentially.
Right.
So it's hard to see changes even like within a year, even to know if there is actual effect. So you need to kind of trust some of the clinical trials in that sense.
But if you measure it enough, you can get some kind of idea often. Like it seems like ezetimibe does something for me.
Yeah.
Right?
Even if it's like minor.
Right.
10% is
it seems like
high.
It seems like it lowers it somewhat. I don't know how much, but I'll tell you the PCSK9 inhibitor definitely works a lot for me. Like that's like a 50% for me.
Well, yeah, it's like 25% for the LP(a), I think.
Yeah, 25% for LP(a), and that I notice as well. Yeah. So that has a very clear effect for me. Bempedoic acid works very well for me. It could even be more than what the studies say. So it's like the studies show 20%, but I think I get a 20% decline by taking it. Well, by taking it every other day. So
you don't take it every day then?
No, I take it every other day.
What dose? Or?
The regular dose, it's 180 milligrams.
Okay.
So yeah, I take that. I find that I don't need it every day. Just I was actually even taking it twice a week. I just started with every other day.
Do you notice any like side effects from some of the supplements or anything?
Some of them do have side effects. I had to stop taking certain supplements for side effects, like berberine.
Okay.
I had muscle pain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, gave me muscle pain.
I've been taking like 1 gram even pretty regularly. I don't get any side effects.